Hello, everybody. I'm in the new place now. It looks very nice. Doesn't look too different from the other place, so I don't know if I'm gonna actually do like a tour or anything like that. But yeah, I escaped, and now I'm here in a different place. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's get to this wrap up. So I did not read that much this month. Or I should say I didn't finish much. Actually, no. Yeah, I just didn't read much. However, what I did read, I like quite a bit. We'll start with a quick list of works that were not finished. Closer by Dennis Cooper. That's it. That was it. That was the only one I didn't finish. I am in the middle of a book right now, but I'm not going to say what it is because the last two times I mentioned a book that I was in the middle of in one of these, I ended up not finishing them. So, not going to make that mistake again. Let's get to the stuff I did read. The first book that I finished is one that I actually read in July, but I happened to read it after I happened to start it and finish it after I recorded the wrap up for that month. So it's going into August. Streets of Paris, Streets of Murder, Volume 1 by Jean-Patrick Manchette and Tardy. This one was really interesting. I think I liked this better than the Volume 2. I read them in different orders. You don't have to read them in order because it's a collection of, like the other one, it's a collection of short comics of individual works. But this one in particular collects Griffoo and West Coast Blues, as well as two incomplete stories, which were kind of cool to look at, but they're not finished, so there's not much to sink your teeth into there for the last two. But Griffoo, I learned, is the only true collab that Manchette and Tardy ever did, because the other three stories that are collected in Volume 1 and 2 were all adaptations of Manchette novels that Tardy did after Manchette had died. And so, which I thought was interesting. And I think it's kind of weird that they advertise this or like put it as like, oh, this is the works of Manchette and Tardy, when it's Tardy. I mean, Manchette had obviously had some sway on those three, having written the original novels that they're based on, but I don't know. It seems it doesn't quite seem accurate to me. I do think that West Coast Blues is my favorite of all of their collaborations. That story was amazing. Is paced really well, and I think of the four completed stories, it's the one that is the most comic-like, in that it doesn't. As I mentioned this when I talked about Volume 2, I found here as well that there's a bit too much. There's too much writing in these comics. Comics are a visual medium, and I like them to use visuals to explore things when they can. And I think possibly because of page restrictions or something like that, they for most of these stories there are like extensive written things, like full paragraphs in a panel, a large panel, but still a panel. And I don't know, I don't really care for that. The stories are very good. Well, my landlord just called me, so had to stop in the middle of mid thought. Um, so I think what I was talking about is more like, yeah, they're very good stories, very entertaining, like spy thriller things. Yeah, would highly recommend. Tardy's a great artist. We'll definitely want to check out some of his own stuff, not just the Manchette's things. Yeah, so let's move on to the next thing. The next book I read was Taras Raquin by Émile Zola, and I liked it a lot. I now own two Zola novels, uh, the Sin of Father Moret and Germinal. Just to let you know, I guess to give an indication of how much I liked it. I'm also out on the hunt for a French edition because I really want to see compare, like, because it had said in the translator had kind of done some stuff where he like rephrased certain things that he felt like if it was getting too repetitive, and I kind of want to see if that maybe interrupts the flow at all. Like I want to see it like in the original more repetitive thing and see if it truly is like as I don't know arduous as the guy made it seem. Now obviously I did not do the review for this book, and I really, as much as that guy was just, uh, terrifying and anyway, but I do think I agree with a lot of his the points that he made, and I think they align a lot with my own. There is one thing I do want to. There is one thing that he didn't touch on that um, I would like to touch on here, but I think my thoughts are not complete on it. So I don't know if I'd ever put it in like a review or anything. But I'm gonna put it here and just riff on it. I One thing I thought was very interesting about the book is the kind of colonial undertones of the book, because as I believe was mentioned in the review, Teres is the daughter of an Algerian woman and a French soldier. And it has these different implications as well as like different kind of exoticizing language. Like I believe early on in the book, Zola refers to Teres as an African beauty or something like mystical African beauty or something along those lines. And I think and I think also like there's something to be said about like just the really like violent and blunt way that Zola describes their especially their first encounter, but also later encounters. I started thinking that maybe you could view this story as an allegory, maybe, for the colonization of Algeria. But I think I've been thinking about it more, and I think that there's some problems going down that road because if you view Taras as Algeria and Laurent as France, it does imply that Algeria wanted to be conquered at one point, which isn't true. Yeah, but yeah, there's definitely some stuff more, definitely a lot more to ponder about that book and different themes, and definitely want to give it a reread at some point. Lastly, I actually left one book out of the did not finish list, and I'm gonna mourn it now because it needs its own special thing. I put down for the final time Sur le Seuil by Patrick Sénécal. I had not read it in weeks, and I had just basically forgotten what had happened, and I'd have to catch myself up so much. Yeah, and I realized it's a 400-page book, and I just started the new semester. So that's it's not gonna happen, at least not right now. I am not giving up on trying to finish a French book though. I have gotten another book which I think will be much more realistic to get through in given my current schedule and things. Tres Nouvelles Vaudou by Gary Victor. It's a collection of short stories that are around, as you could probably tell from the title, around voodoo. And Gary Victor is a Haitian author, and I thought it would be really interesting to read stories about voodoo from an actual Haitian person, because I don't think I've ever actually read or seen anything about voodoo actually by someone from Haiti. So I thought that that would be really interesting, very eye-opening. How I came across the book is that one of the short stories in it is going to be, I don't remember the title off the top of, wait, I have the book. This is what the cover looks like, for those curious. But the short story, I believe, Nuit de Chance, is going to be featured or translated into English and featured in Valancourt's Book of World Horror Stories, Volume 2. So that's how I came across it. And yeah, it seems like it's very interesting. I'm going to try to do one story a month, which I think is pretty reasonable. And I might even do a video series discussing them in French, or more likely franglais, which is basically just like the French version of Spanglish, I guess, because my French isn't super strong. That's all from me for now. I should have a tripod so that you don't have to have half of my face, part of my face, cut off. I can actually put the camera at a distance and things. But yeah, so hopefully there will be some improvements on the recording. Also, I'm recording on my phone now. I got a phone with a decent camera, so I'm recording on my phone instead of the laptop. So hopefully, you can actually watch this at decent resolutions. Yeah, okay, but that's it. This has been Will to Read. I'm Will. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all the things. Have a lovely rest of your day and or week. Have a lovely rest of the week.